Oh yeah. Yeah, it's just florally. I don't consider it Indian like. Not even like it's closer to like batik or like something in Southeast Asia with Indonesia and the Philippines, but not quite as well. Just florally, I think. From a glance, I guess you could make that mistake, but yeah, it's pretty clean. It's pretty nice, as Chat previously mentioned. Something that your grandma would give you. Very sweet, very endearing. Mike.
Yeah, people. I think people are getting a little bit too comfortable commenting on my my attire these days. Never visited India, by the way, John. Seems like a nice place to go and have a look.
Oh, absolutely. The food's amazing. Have some paneer, tikka masala, butter chicken, which is kind of Indian, but also kind of Western influence. All really good food.
Don't make me hungry, John. I haven't ate yet. 3-4-3. He's going to get some wards down. Should be a 2-for-2 bounty, I think. I mean, you've got two drafts that can fight very early on, but just based off the positioning from both teams, it doesn't seem like they're too interested in taking the fight. Perhaps that changes. There is still 36 seconds left till the the bounty runes do spawn, but it does seem like both teams are going to accept it. And yes, John,
I have to point this out. Abing's on the gyro, so it looks like Eris is actually on the Nyx. Maybe they did say Abing couldn't reconnect, or was it Eris couldn't reconnect? So it looks like they had an issue there with picking heroes. So no shenanigans. It's a gyro pause one. That kind of takes away what we kind of took away last time as well.
Yeah.
The battle begins.
Oh, 2-for-2. Very even kind of trade to get this game started. And like I kind of brought up in the draft, John, they are going to run a tri lane at that top side for GXR. I don't even think they need to really rotate a support down after trying to go for first blood. I think this is a very strong kind of tri lane to run. And it's very old school as well, right? Like if you remember back maybe 7-8 years ago when Visage was actually still good, everyone used to run tri lanes, and if it was a Visage in the tri lane, you could almost guarantee you were going to win that lane.
Oh yeah, it's 100% really strong. You've got the Soul Assumption ready here on Paulson.
3-4-3
get started. Oh,
right over his head. Bing, he's going to be all right. He's just playing games with 3-4-3. He might... No, he's just going to TP out. Act like that never happened. Nobody saw that. GXR, they are going to give up on the tri lane in the end. They're just going to run the duo versus duo lane. KYX, he's going to move up with the tag team. But Bing going to take a lot of damage from that Soul Assumption. In the end, he's going to be all right. He'll salve up. Grims will pass him one. And well, I suppose even without the tri lane, you get in with the tag team with KYXY, and the Soul Assumption damage is still going to be pretty darn high.
And you have to watch out for level 2. That's actually really big for Visage. You get that Grave Chill up, the move speed slow is going to be really annoying. With tag team on top, it's going to be hard to run out. So Abing's just got to play with his range advantage, just find those safe last hits, hit his own level 2, level 3 spikes where you can play around with Rocket Barrage and Chakra if you want to, and you can try nuking them down, but before that point, just focus on the farm. It's looking pretty rough for the Gyro so far. Abing has not found a single last hit. They're getting some good control out on GXR to just prevent that initial farm. For the Gyro, gives us a chance to take a peek at the other lanes. Down mid, you've got Alacrity on his Storm. He's up against Jamesy on that mid Tiny. And you're at that level 3 spike for both sides. So Alacrity doesn't opt for the Vortex, instead just focusing on the creep waves, just wants to keep farming. He is using his range quite well. 15-1 up against
Top lane, John.
Oh.
Bing's taking a lot of damage again. He's going to be able to get himself out, but another salve's going to be there from Grims. So Grims, you can already see he's bought his third salve of the game now. He just gave the second one over to a Bing. And that's great pause 5 play, mind you. Like, Grims is doing a great job, and he understands what he needs to do in this lane. Just kind of be the heals for Bing, as now he's going to get dive shots. Perfect. KYXY. Landing him right on target. That'll be first blood going the way of GXR. Now Bing, he's going to have to wait for his next salve.
Yep, it's going to be a little bit longer at the least now. GXR is a bit unhealthy, and sort of out of mana on Paulson to keep that spam of the Soul Assumption up, so you're not going to be able to harass down Abing as much. The one thing here is that, yeah, Grims is keeping Abing alive, but his last hits are just not racking up. Abing's still stuck at 7-0. A paltry amount of farm, especially compared to our Morphling right now at 16-3 on the opposite end. So you need to maybe start considering some stacks here for Grims. Outside of just healing up his Drower, he's going to need to ensure some flash farm comes out for that hero. Looks like they're not in position to really play with Rocket Barrage as well. You do have Flak up and Abing, which is great to just find those last hits, but that does mean that you're not getting too much value with the Chakra there. Still gets his chance to peek bot, and ooh.
Yeah, they're going right now. They're going for the 3-4-3. Cookie is going to be there in time. Mizu, can he get the job done? Oh, actually 3-4-3. He turned back around. That's an interesting play to make from 3-4-3. I mean, he may have just assumed he was already dead. In the end, Mizu being able to get the kill anyway is going to make it more worthwhile for the side of GXR. Yeah, I guess you still have to be happy if you're Galaxy Racer. 3-4-3, he gets a reset.
Yeah, it's not too bad. Mizu gets solo EXP as well from getting the kill on Van. So I think that kind of works really well for the Morphling. It's just really hard to get the kill till the stun. Nah.
Well, I take it back as well, John. It looks like the reason he wanted to die there is to be able to TP mid, fill up the bottle, and try to contest the water runes, which he almost did. Unfortunately for him, Jamesy did manage to stun up Alacrity, but had he not done that, he would have. They would have gotten both water runes as well as the full bottle from the storm before then.
Yeah, would have been really hard for Jamesy to hold that lane. He's still playing at the deficit compared to Alacrity. 39-2 in the storm, 24-0 on Tiny, so not looking as good in terms of CS. And again, it's just down to the fact that Alacrity's playing with his range advantage really well, just bullying out the melee core. He's got his level 6 up here as well, so you could look to maybe make a play if Jamesy oversteps. You're going to have to watch that spacing once more on the Tiny, as if you get too close, the overload spam is going to be up now.
Yep. See Grims on the Coddle as well, just getting those stacks up already for the Gyrocopter. I think one thing we have to really look out for is if GXR can invade this jungle and kind of realize that the stacks are going to be there. And it should be fairly obvious considering there is a Gyro in the game. But now Alacrity is going to move up towards the top lane, and looks like Grims is probably going to die again. Very easy kill there for Alacrity. And he is still top of the CS board even with that rotation. Let's go back into the mid lane with a kill under his belt and be very happy with the way his game's going so far.
Yeah, it's really working out nicely. We're not seeing the rotations down mid from Cignal supports. Eris is finally here, but actually already found a kill. He's already sort of safe. They could camp for the power runes, but you will also get a rotation out from Paulson, so it's not like it's going to go uncontested here, and that bounty as well.
They're going right now. Top lane, or excuse me, top river. Grims can't deny it in time. It's an arcane rune for now for Alacrity, and we know how much the Storm loves those. Alacrity's already popped it. He might go for a kill attempt. TP out towards the bot lane. Looks like Van's going to be targeted here, and he has no help around. They're just going to dive right in. The Stampede is there, but Alacrity, can he keep chasing? Not quite. The Stampede does work out. Alacrity was running very low on mana. Well, the Arcane Rune, while it was a nice attempt, will not really lead to a kill. Meanwhile, top side, Paulson has been caught. He does have the Gravekeepers, so he is quite tanky. And that's the thing when you're Tiny, right? The Avalanche Toss combo, it's not going to kill the Visage in one combo.
No, you're going to eat through a couple of those cloaks first because of that damage instancing on the Tiny. Avalanche is a separate instance of damage each with each wave of rocks. So it's got an interval. You're not going to instantly just dig through, get the damage off. A bit annoying for finding that kill. And even with the movement coming out here from GXR, you're still getting really good results in your lanes. KYXY still above Abing in terms of farm. Gyrocopter's now playing the jungle. They are rotating around though.
Jeez, look at the damage output from this Morphling. Mizu, he'll keep moving forward. Paulson, that's going to be enough. They want a big to try and take these stacks, and while Grims is here, you can definitely help him out with the Illuminate. When you're up against a draft like this on GXR, you don't want to wait too long to take the stacks. You do have a Storm who would be more than happy to take them away from the side of Cignal Ultra. So I do like the fact that they've gone back for those. Thing is, you kind of pointed this out already, John, but
Radiant's
in terms
bottom
of CS,
tower is under attack.
there was a pretty big struggle for it being.
Dire's top tower
And even with
is
these
under
stacks
attack.
being taken, while it's helping him catch up, it's not going to be quite enough to even be at the top. In fact, he's currently 6th place.
Yeah, he's gonna need
Radiant's
a
structures
lot
are
more farm to
fortified.
come through, which means that the side of Cignal needs to keep stalling out the game, which is super awkward, although Stampede.
Oh, they've got the bot lane. Van trying to stampede away. This time Alacrity will be able to help secure a kill, and 3-4-3 the one to take it on the Snapfire. That's a 4-1 already for Galaxy Racer, and again, with this draft from Galaxy Racer, if they get a good start, it's going to be very hard to come back for Cignal Ultra.
Yeah, and it's just so tricky because they close out with the gyro, but the Morphling, again, he's going to enjoy turning into the gyrocopter to get his own flak. You can see so much activity on the map as well. Paulson's pretty far in to get D-wards, but Jamesy?
Yeah, Jamesy there with the avalanche toss, and being able to get through some of that Gravekeeper's cloak is going to allow Jamesy to just burst down the Visage. A bit of good news there to get that +4 down, and I suppose the one saving grace right now for Cignal Ultra is the fact that Jamesy is top of the net worth board, and maybe he could just set a pace that the other side of GXR can't keep up with.
Fan?
Uh-oh. Van still alone, doesn't have Stampede this time, and it won't matter anyway. KYXY with the Walrus Punch and the Orb of Corrosion up does quite a bit of damage.
Oh yeah, you can't underestimate the output of a core Tusk. Like, he gets priority, he's going to be able to maybe rush the Blink, maybe opt for, say, a Desolator and just absolutely melt some heroes. It can be quite tricky for the side of Cignal to live through that. They are kind of lined up, they know the Morphling's level 1 up top. So Mizu's got to be a bit cautious, but some TPs are coming in to help back him up now.
He's already strength morphing just in case. He'll go after that T1, Agimorph again. He's going to be careful, but now your snowball's in. KYXY wants to start the fight, but he kind of just punched himself. Despite Carapace was there in time from Eris, and now KYXY will be chased down and eventually taken out. Very unfortunate timing there for GXR as they went for the gank, as Cignal was doing the exact same thing.
Radiant's top tower.
They do give a +3 kill away.
Oh. Paulson? No,
Trouble.
he's running away.
Yes, he is. Tree toss is going to be enough. With the DD rune, it's a lot of damage out with that tree toss, and they get him eventually.
Radiant's bottom tower is under
Yeah,
attack.
looked a bit close. Paulson did turn around to cast his spell, so got punished for that.
Bot lane.
Bot lane?
Has been caught. He is gone. Hooky out as well. Mid stampede. Van, he's going to try and run, but it's probably... Oh, they leave him.
Yes, I think that's fine. He's super tanky. There's a TP point here for Cignal. They drag Eris down. If they stayed around, the Knicks could get the stun on the Storm, you know, get all sorts of control off. So kind of nice for GXR that they get disciplined, pull back, find a kill, and just go back to farming. Although Eris is still keeping track here.
Well, they were correct in the end, I guess. The rotations were out from Cignal Ultra, and Eris now is going to try and punish Mizu. Mizu is pretty healthy, though. 1.7k HP on the Morph. He seems to understand something is awry here, and he does eventually end up just backing off to the triangle. It's a great game sense there from Galaxy Racer, and well, I say game sense, it may have been spotted by this Observer Ward in the bot lane, but I do believe the Nyx Assassin was already in that Vendetta.
Yeah, I think they just knew. Like, they knew they were going to be overcommitting. They know that Cignal wants to jump in and punish. The blink is already there on Jamesy, so he's in a position where he can just jump in, try to nuke down the stragglers one by one, and that's exactly what you don't want for GXR. So Cignal, they're just going to be back and trying to get farm up for Aubing. He's managed to overtake in that word, which is great news for the Gyro. They just need to be able to maintain that lead for a bit longer. Once the items start flowing in, you're going to feel a lot better on the Gyros. You will sort of outfarm the Morphling. Like, he's just playing up top. He can't clear out waves as fast. The mid lane's now under pressure from Cignal while the top's being shoved. And that's a much bigger target to take.
Fair enough. Mid lane, zip in, Alacrity. He's got the Centaur again, and with the shards out, it's going to be a nice easy kill as Eris now shows up. Was underneath Sentry Vision for a second, but they weren't able to hold him down, and well, at the end, I suppose with their Centaur dying, you probably don't want to initiate right now. The Cignal, as long as Bing is farming that triangle, you're probably going to be pretty happy. Mind you, John, the Morphling is keeping up quite nicely. Mizu, even without that kind of farming mechanism, still able to kind of keep up with the pace. As mid lane now, Jamesy's gone. That's the mid tiny. Van's TP'd in, but I don't see what they can get out of this. It's too late.
And they found a punishment on 343, so at least they kill off the snap, but without the tiny round, that's a lot of their burst damage gone. Van can still play with the tank through the tower, deal with retaliate for tower push, but they're coming back in.
Yeah, right back in. A nice shot out from KYXY into a big snowball on a Bing. He is in big trouble. Mizu going to turn around Alacrity. He does die, but he got the gyrocopter first, and now the team wipe, it looks like, is about to begin as GXR will just keep on, but no, a nice avalanche toss. Jamesy will be able to turn it back around. And so in the end, it was a pretty even trade-up, but you'd have to agree that Cignal may have just come out on top.
Yeah, it's a bit better for Cignal. We saw Alacrity just jump a bit too close to the gyrocopter. He wasn't maintaining his range there at all, so he got nuked down while trying to find that kill. And he did die before the gyrocopter did, so you got a little bit more EXP on Cignal's end. The big kill coming out from our Tiny on the Morphling is also really nice for Jamesy. That means his Echo Saber is going to be up a little bit faster. And GXR just get much more aggressive than they needed to, diving a bit too deep. They just needed to maintain some spacing there. Mizu just, again, split off from the fight, kind of playing on the opposite end of the river compared to his team, was just too far forward to clean up. So Cignal, they're not out of it yet. They do have spikes coming in. Their net worth is fairly even, less than 1k of lead for GXR. For the side of GXR, they're going to need some BKBs fast. Alacrity's already saving up for his. And once you have that BKB on the Storm, there is nothing that can control him. Your nuke damage is not going to be there. You're going to have to rely on physical coming out from your Gyro and to a certain extent from your Tiny. But you really just will have no way to lock in that really slippery Storm, and that could be a massive issue once Alacrity farms that up.
That certainly could be. So both teams, again, just going to be quite happy to keep farming, but I suppose you already brought this up, but a Bing is going to be able to farm much more efficiently on that Gyro and see if GXR kind of realize this and want to try and make a play. But now they are just seemingly more than happy to sit back and just farm up themselves. And KYXY, of course, keeping that mid lane defended, but now they might make the jump in. Jamesy, he's got the blink up. Be very careful here if you're KYXY. There's a 5-man group up in that mid lane. He's trying to protect the siege creep. That's what Van will do. He'll protect it. They'll get the tier 1 tower.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen.
KYXY, he has no way to take it out. He'll just have to back out. It's a pretty nice little win there for Cignal.
They're just playing with the tankiness on Van. I mean, he's got the Vanguard and Hood of Defiance. He's not getting hurt at all. But the towers, well, he's tanking it for his team, so easy one to take. GXR not in position to really fight back. They're just trying to build up that farm, as we talked about. Mizu looks like he's just trying to rush that Scotty now. Does have the Yasha and also has the Sanj coming in. So a little bit more set of stats to play with on the Morphling. The stat is resistant force, so always nice for these cores. That's why the SNY is still a really popular pickup. One of the only source of that stat resist. The rest of GXR just trying to get as much farm as possible. They are, again, losing out the farm more compared to Abing. As we have continuously pointed out, the Ags is up for a Gyro. The BKB is going to be up next, so it's the same kind of timing that we were talking about in the Storm. Once that BKB is up for Abing with the Ags, he's just going to stand forward, keep getting the hits. Nothing to pierce spell immunity here from GXR, and that could be an issue for them as well.
And again, mid lane needs to be a little bit cautious here. KYXY going to have his smoke broken and Alacrity is right in, but Eris is around with an impel, but he completely whiffs it. I think he only hit one. Eris still going to get stunned up himself now by the Morph, but they are going to try and fight this one out. Mizu, he's into the backside. Van's going to try and chase him, but misses the hoof stop. Meanwhile, Paulison, he'll be the first one to drop on the Visage. Now KYXY in danger. Cookie, not going to save him either. Zabing continues to chase him down, but the fight will continue. Jamesy finds another target in the form of 343. And now Cignal Ultra. It didn't look like a great start to the team fight, but great counter initiation there. Eventually out from Cignal, and
Radiant's middle tower is under
GXR
attack.
seems like they just can't really afford to fight back yet.
Yeah, they just couldn't go into that big team fight. There's a lot more AoE damage coming out from Cignal. They need these BKBs to be up, especially on Alacrity. The only reason Alacrity didn't die was Mizu turned into the Nyx as the Tiny blinked in. He managed to pop the Spike Carapace, so he couldn't get the follow-up right click to kill off Alacrity. And that's the only reason why the gold swing wasn't as big for Cignal. They've got 2k lead. Big enough to be noticeable at 18 minutes in, but not quite big enough to close it out just yet. And the side of GXR just need to be more cautious in their approach. They need to be able to use all their spells. They need the Kiss to be flying out from tree for tree at a safe distance to get that damage out. But otherwise, these tight confined spots are easier for Cignal to control up, and it's going to get even tougher. You've got a blink on Eris flying out now. So your Nyx is just going to be able to set up, jump right in the middle of these fights, line up for a big impale, line up for a really good Spike Carapace, and that just puts even more risk to GXR as, again, the Nyx just does so much good work against the Storm, against the Morphling, even the Snap. Heck, everyone just does not enjoy that spell. You have to really be cautious with those.
Alacrity, Avalanche toss in, Jamesy, he's got him, but the zip away should be enough. TP out, he'll make it. Very close call there for Alacrity on the Storm, but Jamesy just not quite having enough damage, and it's like if he had a +1, they probably almost definitely would have had enough, but fortunately it just wasn't the case.
Just maybe a bit hasty. They didn't manage to channel the Illuminate properly or let it go at the right time, so there was enough of a window there for Alacrity to zip away. Very quick fingers on Alacrity, and that's just a really good escape from him, as if he dies, it stalls out the BKB. So you really don't want to take hits until the BKB's up, and then you can start looking aggressive.
Has his smoke broken? That's a very interesting smoke to make. You don't have Vendetta, but you still move in to the triangle like that, and feels like if they went with Vendetta, Mizu would have been caught, as there was no detection around there. No real sentries there from the Radiant. Cignal maybe just getting a little bit too excited. Went to that Radiant triangle early. Nevertheless, they're still going to be able to take down this tier 2 tower, unless GXR want to try and go for a fight. They're thinking about it. It is a very hard team fight to take, though, it looks like, as your tier 2's already almost gone. They do clip it up. Man, he's going to be targeted. They'll get one. But a massive impale out from Eris now, and the call down from a big with the BKB out. Do they have enough damage? Snapfire kisses in, a Bing now with the BKB just going to TP away, and Jamesy going to get zipped on by Alacrity, and that should be your Tiny gone.
Radiant's middle tower.
A strange turn of events.
Yeah, it's a bit of a back and forth one. You can see Mizu just making great use of morphing into the Nyx to break up these fights, but that means you don't have the damage output that you would have with, say, the gyro form. So it's a bit of a trade-off. The one tricky thing for GXR is that in these fights, Paulson has to really micro his familiars quite well, because the gyrocopter rips right through them. The Roche is still melting, but they're quite close to dropping.
Impale out. They wanted to try and steal that Aegis, but they will not be able to. Eris, you gave it a crack. But there you go. Aegis up now on Mizu. Still a less than 1k net worth lead for Cignal Ultra, so a very close game between these two. I suppose you are getting to the point now, if you're a Bing, where you do need that Eye of Skadi up to really deal with Mizu throughout the team fights. That should be the next kind of big power spike for Cignal, when that Eye of Skadi is up for a Bing. Though it does seem like it might be a while away.
Yeah, it's still about all parts away. I mean, even that first Ultimate Orb is 300 gold off, so it's going to be some time. Now, the Gyro will be able to flash farm that quite fast. They just need to buy some space out. If they don't force any fights, Abing can just sit back in jungle. You will hit that spike nicely. You have to really be fast, though. Like, Mizu is about 1k gold behind, but his itemization is lining up still, so it's still going to be major. Scotty's being built up faster on the Morphling. So you're going to have that interesting back and forth where, again, as long as Mizu keeps gold or item parity with a gyro, if he does opt to morph into the gyrocopter, it will feel scarier to have flak from the Morphling's form. It's just so much stronger, and you have to find a way to control him.
Olsen.
Defensive also.
Trying to play the bait. He is already dead, however. KYXY, he tried to jump into turn, but there's too many heroes around. Van, he'll go for the stampede in. KYXY, he has been left behind. He'll try to snowball. Alacrity going to move back in now with the BKB charge back onto Van, but they don't have the damage output. Instead, they'll try onto the Tiny with the avalanche toss. Mizu will be able to get one, but now Van is right back in with the hoop stop. But do you have the damage for that big Morphling? It doesn't look like it. Mizu's gonna back. Eris, a great impale out from the Nyx Assassin, but again, Mizu is still gonna be able to walk out. They do get 3-4-3 instead. Back into Eris now with the avalanche, but the Spike Carapace is there. Mizu, another impale. Eris has got the big one. Van with the follow-up stun. Alacrity gonna try and save the day. Mizu, it's gonna be fine for now. Paulson, he'll come back in onto Van with the Soul Assumption. But they won't find another kill. Cignal Ultra, able to win out the team fight. That'll be enough. They'll back off.
Yeah, I mean, they tried to bait out with Paulson. I'm not sure if they were even really fully baiting, as it felt like they weren't quite ready. The response was a bit slow. We saw KYXY wanted to play with a blink and snowball save. Didn't really get there in time, so Cignal just getting a better jump in there. Lando
needs to be very careful here. Van or Eris, they weren't around to really set up there for the gyro to move his way in. GXR meanwhile gonna go back into the Radiant jungle now and see what they can find. Alacrity, oh, he's been impaled off. This could be big as they get the storm kill. Alacrity already gone onto Paulson now. They want to chase him down, but now KYXY back in with the Walrus Punch, and there's Mizu onto the Gyrocopter. The call down is there, and Bing actually walking away from all this. They can't kill the Gyro. Van now back in with Jamesy onto 3-4-3. Jamesy may have gone a bit too far, however, and has been left behind.
Killing spree!
The mid-Tiny going to die again. So it is going to be a 1-for-1 trade on those position 2s. On the brighter side, a Bing does survive on the Gyro. I suppose Cignal would have probably been better off just kind of taking the Storm kill and just backing out.
Yep, Jamesy just a bit too far forward. A bit of a missed opportunity there for GXR. Mizu did not manage to waveform forward to try and chase down the Gyro. It felt like they were really scattered in target priority there. They were trying to get everyone low. The Gyrocopter just moves away a bit and suddenly they're focusing on someone else. GXR might need to reel that in a bit, start to focus on the same alpha target at the same time, get the alpha strike in. Side of Cignal right now, they're still getting that really smooth farm up. The Scotty is up in the Morphling, but Obin's not too far off. He's still 2k ahead of the Morphling on paper. So again, you're getting a little bit more value there on the Gyrocopter. And the side of GXR, they're going to need defensive items now. Mizu is saving up for his BKB next, the Storm BKB. As long as you catch him out first, he's still at risk. So you really have to be very conscious about where you're at for Alacrity. As there is a Nyx, he was farming the jungle without sentries nearby. That's just asking for trouble to Storm.
Smoke up, GXR. They'll invade the Dire triangle.
Dire are scanning.
4-3 with a bit of a cheeky sentry ward of the ancient camp. Do have a bit of a feeling it's a bit too late for that. Aegis does expire. Mizu gonna have his smoke broken. Eris is there with the Vendetta.
Dire's middle tower is under
They want that mid-tier 1 tower, but now the Stampede's out into the hoop stop. Van, he found 2 already. The snowball is there. They might be able to turn now. Van's in trouble on the center again. He might die, and does. Alacrity able to take him out. Mortimus gets in. A Bing still moving forward. I'm not 100% sure about this. I suppose he still does have the BKB up. Jamesy gets a kill onto 3-4-3, but it's not really worth his own life. And now the Shard's out, locking them all in. Mizu just gonna have his way with the Gyrocopter and the Tiny. This is not great news, Cignal. They need to back out ASAP. A Bing, a nice impale out from Eris, but it's not gonna be enough. The Gyrocopter's still in massive trouble as KYXY's back in with the tag team, and they'll find another. A Bing goes down. Grim still trying to run, but KYXY is still trying to just chase him down to the keeper of the line. It was a really nice shards out from KYXY to just lock them in.
Stupendous!
The Cignal, obviously, you're going to be very careful with the way you initiate and where you take the team fights.
Yeah, they kind of tried to jump in. This time around, KOXY, not just with the shorts, but before that, he got a really good snowball save. And that just stalled out long enough that Van was stuck in the middle. He managed to get that big centaur kill. And they clean up from there.
Might by Mizu. Oh, he didn't right-click him.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
Oh, he missed out on a kill.
Unlucky.
He didn't connect the right click with the Vendetta strike. Top side, they found Paulison. He might just run though, and he does.
Yeah, it's a missed opportunity twice over now. He still can't fully burst a fairly healthy Visage.
Too much damage.
Just with a tiny, it's just not enough anymore. You're gonna need right clicks to fly in. James, he does have the Echo Saber, but once you see the Grave Chill, Paulson runs really fast. Like, you can't underestimate that speed on a Visage. With a Grave Chill up, he gets 35% more move speed from you. It's really quick. So on the side of Cignal, would have really liked those kills, but they're gonna have to settle with nothing for now. Keep building up. Abing is already at the BKB mark. It's down to 6 seconds. Of course, he's trying to rush his Daedalus next, so he's trying to solve that damage issue on the Gyro. He wants to hit a lot harder. He's not going to have self-sustain, so nothing like the Satanic. I think that's fine, because it does feel like they might be missing some damage output, especially once their tiny sort of isolated out. So just a more physical, it's going to be great. It is going to take some time to build up into that. That should maybe line up with the next Roche timer, at least once you get the Crystallis coming true with just that small steroid up on yourself. And Roche, we will see when it respawns soon. It's a quick Roche, so never mind that. It's just a 13-second respawn. This is something GXR should look to abuse. Cignal does have a good ward by the river, but of course that is going to be Aegis Cheese and the Ag's Shard. A major spike for any team that finds it first.
Absolutely. Eris again looking to set up in that mid lane. He'll find 3-4-3. Won't bother going for it though. Now with BKB up on Mizu, gonna make him feel a lot more confident in these team fights. And Cignal, they are kind of grouped in that mid lane, but it seems like they're kind of they don't really have a game plan right now. He doesn't have any camps to farm, so they just de-water those that triangle. Top lane, Eris, Spike Carapace. It's gonna be enough for Mizu not to make the jump in. Jamesy, down 3-4-3. Avalanche out a little bit late there. 3-4-3. He's gonna survive the combo. And now the Visage Familiars starting them up. They found the Nyx Assassin. That'll be Eris gone. Call down. It's gonna be up from a Bing onto the Visage, but I don't think the side of GXR really care about him. A Bing now gonna have to try and find out Mizu. There's your shards out again. KYXY locking in a Bing. He just didn't learn his lesson. Van now has been caught trying to kill Paulison, but he just can't get the damage out. You can't play in those tight areas when you're up against a Tusk. You can't do that.
Where's the party?
Zip in, Jamesy. He's been caught out now. KYXY, Walrus punches him up. Mizu's in, gets a triple kill on the Morphling.
Dire's middle tower
And
is under
Cignal
attack.
Ultra. It was a decent first half to the game, but it's looking very rough for them now.
It really is. They're just forcing these fights where they shouldn't be. They're not respecting the chain stunts out from the Familiars. If the Gyrocopter's not around, then the Familiars aren't going to get nuked down by the Black Hand. They're just going to live. You're going to get full utility with it on the Visage. The Visage is not the target to jump for first. Even the Snapfire with the Glimmer Cape just negates so much of that magic damage from the Tiny Spurs that, again, you have to really consider your target priorities here. First Cignal, tier 3 falls mid. They will be able to respawn in time to prevent the side of GXR from going for more, but they could easily swing around for that Roshan next. Just get the free Ag Shard, get the Aegis Cheese. It's going to make it so much harder for Cignal to fight in. They do have Stampede up. They've got the call down. They could maybe try to force that fight, but it's another tight spot that you really don't want to be caught inside at all.
No, absolutely not, John. And Paulson now, he has a full pipe bomb. It's going to make the whole side of GXR quite a bit tankier, at least against the Tiny and Coddle. Here's your Roshan gone now. Aegis. Where is the Aegis? Goes the way of Mizu. Cheese is going to be there onto our Storm, and Alacrity, he is currently holding the shards upgrade, but it looks like he is going to use it. So a bit of raving going on here for GXR now.
That sounds pretty busted with Morphling if he turns into Gyrocopter
Haste.
and he
Oh.
flicks on Flak. That does sound really ridiculous if it does happen there.
So hold on. if he turns into Gyrocopter and gets Flak Cannon,
Dire's
you're
top
telling me
tower
the
is under
overload
attack.
will work on every attack. Is that what you're saying, to me, John?
I believe so.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
I feel like it should, but you never know with the interaction. Still on paper, that should be what happens. So we'll see.
Let's see. I really hope that is the case, because that would be hilarious to watch. Satanic now up on Mizu as well, John. Even with the Eye of Skadi and the Gyrocopter, this could be a big timing now as Mizu. He's going to go right in onto a ping. Here's your Flak Cannon. Jump in, avalanche toss, impale all out. Mizu, look at the flaks just flying out onto everyone from the side of Cignal Ultra. They cannot sustain themselves. It is just way too much damage as Mizu is back in now onto Jamesy underneath the T4 towers. They are just diving them all the way. There is no threat here from the side of Cignal Ultra. They will find the fourth one. The game's over. Will they call it?
Dire's middle
Well,
barracks
they're holding on. Respawns are half a minute, but
It's a full team wipe. Great. Of course, GXR, they realize they could just go straight for the T4 towers, and there's your GG call being made now. Cignal, they have seen
Dire's
enough.
middle tower is under attack.
And we talked about this during the draft phase, John. You couldn't really afford to fall behind with this draft if you were Cignal.